show this night. And we have a special guest that's going to make a special appearance. I didn't put it on the flyer, but I'm excited that she is able to join in with us. So we just going to go ahead and get it started. But first, before we get started, y'all know how we do. Come on, y'all. Get y'all phones. Come on. Text somebody, tweet somebody. Come on, I want y'all call somebody. Tell them that Victory Talk is on. Y'all know how we do. You can go through YouTube. You can go to Twitter. You can go to Facebook. You can go to the website, blfministries.org. Listen, this is such an amazing show. This is so informative. You do not want to miss it because there are so many families that are dealing with autism. They have, well, not so much as dealing with it, but living life, in a different type of way. And there's so many of us that we don't even know who it is because God has taught us how to operate and how to navigate and to move through life with our family members, with our church members, and those that we don't even know. So you want to just tune in and just get situated, get yourself a note and some pad and piece of paper, because we got some information for you too. All right, so first we just gonna go ahead and get started. My co-host Key, hey Kiki.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to Victory Talk.
Y'all, and she's so pretty. I just love my little sissy. She's so pretty. And then we have our resident Fit for Life. I know this is not our Fit for Life segment, y'all. I know y'all conditioned. Y'all know it's the third Friday of every month. But she jumping on tonight because she can relate to the situation. So we're gonna welcome Shay Brown. Hey Shay.
Hey guys.
And y'all know Shay got all the background, the credentials and everything. But most importantly tonight, she is a mom. She is a mom of an autistic young lady. But this young lady is amazing. So we're going to share with her in a little bit. But then we're going to jump on up here to my other sister, Sita Brown. I was going to call you Sita Brown. I got another sister named Sita Brown. Rosita Gray. Rosita is a mother. She's a grandmother. She's a child care provider. She's a teacher. She is just, hey, come on, Sita. Share. Tell everybody who you are, and then we'll come back and get some more from you in a minute.
I'm all that she said I am, plus I'm a mother of an autistic child that's very successful right now.
Amen. Amen. And then we got another queen that is new to our group, and we're going to welcome her. Hallelujah. She had a little difficulty with traffic, but she got right in there. Praise the Lord. God is always on time. So she got right in here. So we are excited to have you. She came highly recommended by another one of our sisters, Lisa Johnson. So we are welcoming to the group Michelle Minor. Michelle is a mom. She is just a queen amongst many things. And so I'm excited to welcome her. Michelle, come on and welcome us. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. I am a mother of 3 boys. My youngest is 19, who was diagnosed with autism probably when he was like 8 or 9.
Wow. And so we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that because we got something specific that we want to talk about with that. So autism. Okay. Autism is one of those, I'm not going to call it, no, Michelle, don't leave. But autism.
I'm not going, I'm trying to join from my computer.
Okay. Autism is one of those, and I'm not going to say situations, but it's one of those lifestyles, so to speak, that not many people are aware of. Because if you didn't know that a child was autistic, or a person or an adult, because it's not just children, because our children grow up to be adults. Amen. Because for the longest time, look, I had no idea that Joshua was autistic. If Cedar didn't tell me, because he's very functional. He's, got a business and he's doing his thing. So I did not know. I mean, that there's something a little bit different about someone, but you don't necessarily always know. All right. So there are, so many different, services and things of that nature. But we'll talk about that later. But I do want to, autism begins before the age of 3, according to a lot of the research that we were looking up. Although some children show signs as early as their first few months, while others don't present symptoms until they are 24 months or older. And that's why, Michelle, I said I was going to come back to you. When did you first notice symptoms? And Michelle, you said how old?
So I noticed a difference because I have 2 older boys who are neurotypical. I probably noticed anywhere between 4 and 5 months when he wasn't hitting milestones. And then he had some other, he had gross motor issues and other stuff like that. But just from him not hitting certain milestones, the doctor had diagnosed him with developmental delays. But as he got a little bit older, Christmas time and birthday time, I would buy him like little toy cars that my other kids played with, but he would just line them up. So I took him to the doctors and asked him, Kennedy Krieger, and they said, no, he does not have autism. Well, then he was like 3 because he was in a feeding program at Kennedy Krieger. And I took him back at about, I think it was 8 or 9. And those same doctors then diagnosed him with autism.
In my case, it took longer.
I knew something was different. And at first they kept saying it was just developmental delays, but it became more obvious. He didn't walk, he didn't crawl. Well, he did eventually walk, but he didn't crawl. He would scream and holler when he laid on his stomach. He was very food selective. It was a lot of things that said autism. It screamed autism, but the head doctor at Kennedy Krieger, Dr. Alexander Hoon, said, no, he doesn't have autism, and pushed me on my way. But he was still in the feeding clinic there.
Go ahead. Cedar, you were about to say something?
I said, in my case, it was longer. They knew that something was not quite right, but they never said autism until he was grown. And his situation that he has problems with is his daily life living skills, and is his autism level. It's like certain things Joshua is extremely smart in, gifted in, but then those daily things that we take for granted are his struggles. And that's what caused him to have issues in school. I had to fight for him to get a high school diploma. And they wanted to give him a 12-year certificate. And it's a lot of issues with it. But go ahead.
Shay, so tell us about Maddie. How old was she when you guys noticed symptoms?
Well, just like everyone else, my situation is a tad bit different because I'm a little more, I guess, aggressive, being that I do have a bit of medical background and you really can't pull the rug over my head and all that good stuff. So I started noticing a difference in Madison when she was, in her early months. I would say about 8-9 months. Morgan was really crawling at the age of 9 months. By that time, she was trying to walk. Madison wasn't doing any of those things. And as we take our kids to the doctors to see how well they're developing, Madison was a little bit slower. She wasn't saying like those 2 words that the doctors would ask you, how many words is she speaking? She wasn't speaking at all. She never spoke until she was at the age of 6. So, as with Michelle, they were diagnosing her with developmental delays. And they diagnosed her with developmental delay when she was 20 months old. Okay, so we kind of, and with me, I was referred to Kennedy Krieger as well, but I have an excellent doctor. I don't know who this other doctor is, so I'm like, she just put him on blast. But my doctor, Dr. Baza, She was excellent with Madison, and she was with me the whole while. I mean, she talked to me, she gave me different type of resources, and she also explained to me that Madison cannot be diagnosed with the disorder of autism until she was at the age of 5. Well, we knew that she was autistic, but most children cannot be diagnosed with autism until the age of 5. So I'm like, okay, so we stood with the developmental delays, until she was at the age of 5. When she turned 5 years old, she was definitely diagnosed with autism. She still did not speak. I didn't care what she said or how often she said it. I just wanted her to say those words, mommy. And that was something that just meant the world to me. Now she constantly talks and calls my name and I can't stand it. This situation was totally different. I have an abundance of resources. I have an educational lawyer that speaks for me at the IEP meetings, because you guys can understand, if you ever were in a hospital and the doctor came into your room and he just started talking to you, you don't understand half the words those doctors are saying. Same thing with me in the school system. You're talking to me about my daughter and I don't understand what you're saying. And then you're saying now she's acting out, she's this, she's that. And I'm like, wait a minute. I know my child is not like that. So one day when I was working at Johns Hopkins Hospital, and this was heaven sent, the Lord to me. God sent this man to me, and I'll never forget him. I was working at Johns Hopkins, and I was starting an IV. This guy had like a PICC line. And as I'm changing the PICC line, it takes time to change these PICC lines. So I was cleaning it, I was changing the dressing, and I was just talking to him. And he was telling me what he did and stuff like that. And I said, well, I have a daughter that's autistic, and I'm having the hardest time. He deals with special education in schools. He was like the supervisor, and he did all of that stuff. So he just retired. He was in the hospital and and he and I was just started talking. And then I told him about my daughter, the stuff that was going on. And he told me about this bulldog named Mary Jo Seifert. Okay. And how she is like, she doesn't have any kids. She has an abundance of dogs, but she has no kids, but she has children that are autistic. And my daughter is one of her children. She will fight for my child. She will fight for your child. This is the best $300 in 1 hour that I have ever spent. When I went to the school system, that same school system that told me my daughter was doing this and acting out and everything else, Mary Jo Seifert, I said nothing. And my husband, which was like an excellent advocate for Madison, we both go to those IEP meetings, but we have Mary Jo, he does not go anymore. I mean, I don't even have to go, but Mary Jo is there and I say nothing because they know her, she knows the system, and they don't try and pull any wool over my eyes. They know that my daughter will not get a certificate. They know that my daughter will get a diploma. This is not an option. This is not an option. My daughter can get a diploma, okay? And since we have all been on that same page, Madison, she excels in math. I mean, she has in geometry and got a freaking A. I'm like, go figure. I got a B when I was in high school, okay? Now she's taking algebra. She knows those formulas like the bat. I mean, she is so good with math. So the only issue that I can say with her is in the beginning, people, if you don't fight for your child, if you don't get the right resources for them, they will pull the wool over your eyes. Yes. I just thank God that I'm in a position to where I was able to provide for her in that aspect, to where I was able to get someone like Mary Jo, to where I was working at Hopkins, and this guy did tell me about the school system and referred me to her, to where I did take her to Kennedy Krieger, and I have an excellent doctor for her, Dr. Vaza. So my situation is a little bit different. I have a great support system for her. She's with IEPs. She has a one-to-one in school. Even she did the one-to-one sent me like a page of stuff that Madison was doing in school since she's been back in school. And I sent her an email thanking her she tells me each class what Madison is doing, or something she's doing wrong, or something she's doing right. And it doesn't take anything but just saying, hey, look, this is what's going on. You can't do this in school. You can't do that. Like, she had a food fight in school. She started a food fight in the cafeteria. I don't know where she got it from, but she threw an apple and just started throwing stuff. And all the kids in the cafeteria started throwing food in the cafeteria. The teachers and everybody thought that was adorable. I was, why did she do that? This is me. Mm-hmm. With Madison and the way she is, they were like, oh, it was adorable. It was not adorable. Madison, you can't do that. I'm like spazzing. Right. She tells me, Mommy, calm down. So I mean, these are my experience with the school system, with a child that is growing up with a developmental delay, and knowing that this is the process that they have to go through. And when they are actually diagnosed as a child with autism, then I want to know, what is her resources? What do we do next? What do we do next? And I ask those. I drill the mess out of them. And then I have my educational lawyer as well. With the school system, I have nothing to do with the school system anymore. My lawyer does. So, I mean, that's just my experience with Madison. So I didn't want to take up too much of your time. It's just
That's okay. And since
it was just like
down the road of, the misdiagnosis, and not being diagnosed at, a earlier stage. One of our guests, Erica Coral, said, was it discrimination? Do you feel like that there was discrimination?
I do. I felt in my case, they had a young black boy and they wanted to sweep him under the carpet. And I told them not with this one. And it got to the point where I got upset, walked out of the meeting. We had a little issues, but I know one thing, he got a high school diploma and things of that when I was done with him. Yeah. I had me come up there. I had my father come up there. I didn't have access to a lawyer, but I wasn't playing with them. And because, like I said, they wasn't losing this one black boy. And it was up for me to fight. And we had meeting after meeting. I made sure that I was off from work at those meetings to make sure they did what they were supposed to do. And he wasn't being a disciplinary issue. His issue was staying focused, being able to sit there and do what they want him to do. And I'm like, well, if you continue to talk to me, I can show up at the school and get it straight. So I would show up at the school during the day and he would get straight. But then the thing is, if I disciplined him, they was always questioning him about how I disciplined him. And saying, oh, he doesn't understand this and he doesn't understand that. And I'm like, no. This little boy understands everything. Mm-hmm. He tells me in detail. And I see the thing is, what I believe parents have to do is fight for their child. And I'll use everything you got in you to fight for your child so it doesn't slide under the rug. Right. Because me, it was every meeting, I was there. Taking off from work, there. If I had to bring my other kids, there. And crying and fighting with them. Going to every part of the school, meeting with every person in the school, getting them on board with me. Having my father up there, my mother up there. I didn't have any lawyer or any doctor. All I had was me. But as a result, now he has his own enterprise, got a beautiful office downtown in Inner Harbor, and able to make his own and living on his own. And I can go do whatever he want to do.
Just to kind of piggyback off of that, before we get to the next question, I just want to throw out there, for everyone that's listening, what Sita said, is so important. What all these ladies are saying is so important. We may in the future have a separate show on other, mental health diagnosis or disorders in children. But just to kind of jump in there on the fighting for your child situation, do not allow them to tell you no. I have a child that has ADHD and he has a mood disorder as well. And in the beginning, we almost had to get an attorney because these schools are only they're only allotted a certain amount of funds each year to these IEPs and 504s. So they took us a behavioral intervention plan. Then they wanted to give us a 504. They didn't want to give the IEP. And then, it was to the point where he was out of class more than he was in class before we finally were able to say, okay, hey, this is significantly impacting him. So you guys have to do something. So if they tell you no once, if they tell you no 100 times, please don't stop, because your child is your priority and getting them what they need is number one. Even if you have to go, get a free attorney, get a low cost attorney, get an extra job to get an attorney, you make sure that you keep fighting for your child, because I didn't stop until I got what we needed to get for ours. And so with that being said, we know that both ADHD and ASD, or autism spectrum disorder, both have neurological components, which affect, brain development and the central nervous system. So I want to know, to you ladies, they say that having one increases the chances of having another. Does anyone have experience with their children having a dual diagnosis? Or were they well, you guys kind of answered the misdiagnosis. They wanted to just say developmental forever, until they kind of got to the age where they had to say. But does anyone have any experience as far as that's concerned with having more than one?
With Madison, I mean, she was diagnosed with developmental delay, but also with ADHD as well. So she has ADHD and autism. I mean, the two are not connected. I mean, the two are connected, but they're two totally different diagnoses. You can have just a normal child with ADHD, but Madison has ADHD and autism. So those are the two connections that, my child has.
My
For
son,
me, I'm sorry. Well, for me, in the beginning, so he was a little bit younger, and they kept saying ADHD. So the definition of ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I think that they kept saying he had ADHD. I said he might have ADD, but he does not have ADHD. He's not hyperactive at all. No way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna need for y'all to unbundle it and take it out of his and just have him have attention deficit disorder. Yes, he does not pay attention. He can't stay focused. He's not hyper in no way, shape, or form. So with me, I know I heard the other young lady stating she had a lawyer or whatever. I never had a lawyer. I just don't accept no as an answer. I know in every situation is different, and I understand that. But, I'm like a little pit bull myself. Like, if this is what he needs, this is what he needs. You can't tell me no. Or I'm calling somebody else. I'm calling Towson. I'm calling Towson's boss. I'm calling somebody. And I show up to the schools. I'm there for every meeting. I'm there for every conference, meeting, first day of school. Yes, he's in high school. I still show up. He had problems where they put him on a BIP later on with the moving into puberty and stuff like that. I sat in the schools every day for a month, every day with him. So I'm there.
We have a couple of comments. Let me get them in real quick. Erica Coral says, most importantly, having acceptance that there is an issue. And then she also says that the school system wants to slap a label on your child instead of dealing with the problems. What's always suggested is medication. That is not always the issue. She meant medication. I meant giving medication is not always the answer. Hey, Shar Johnson is on as well. She said, early intervention is essential. And as you all ladies are, putting that out there, that seems to be the common theme. And yes, Erica says that some children only need repeated instruction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to concur with that, because even with Madison, and I definitely want to get back to Michelle with the lawyer thing. A lot of people don't do lawyers, and I'm not going to say that everyone have to. The only reason why I did it is because with my lifestyle working in the hospital, there's no way that I will be able to research and look things up when it's so much more applicable for me to be able to have someone that, as an educational lawyer that specializes in special needs, and for them to know the system, and for me to be able to go to an IEP meeting and just sit there and just know that I don't have to talk, and to just sit there and know that the lawyer is there to handle any issues that's going on in the system with Madison. Because again, like I said, I mean, I myself was at every, I am at every IEP meeting, me and the lawyer. She still is with us. I send her Christmas presents every year. You know, we sit and we provide the school with ways to handle Madison. You know, as Rosita says, there's no way that a school system can tell you how to discipline your child or how to teach your child. You know, with me, Madison, and you guys all know her, you know, she loves to sing. She's a happy child. So she started singing, guess from who? From me. I would sing to them all the time. I mean, even Morgan still sings that song. And now that I've sung to her called Mommy, I'm Sleepy, she sings the John Brown song to me now. So when I'm tired, she holds me and says, Mommy, I'm sleepy. And she sings the Mommy, I'm Sleepy song to me. So these are things that I did with my daughter as an with her autism. Anytime we want something done, I will make it all into a song. And this is what I explained to the school system. I said, anybody sing? I said, you might want to learn. I said, because that's the best way that Madison adapts to things. She likes to sing. And if it's a good tune, she's going to sing along with you. Like when it was time to clean up, you guys saw my child vacuuming the floor at the age of 6 years old. I put it on Facebook. I don't care. You're going to earn your keep around this house, okay? Autism or not, you earning your keep. She is vacuuming that floor. I mean, with her little pajamas on, and we're singing the song, It's Time to Clean Up. Everything that I wanted her to do, I made it into a song. When it was time for discipline, didn't discipline. Madison, we just took things from her. You know, I mean, people think that, oh, well, Black people beat their kids. No, we don't really beat our kids. We're going to spank our kids, definitely, but we don't go around beating
some work.
we put the work in. But the bottom line is that, you know, when you have someone that understands the school system, you want to be able to go to these meetings and go in there and bring them donuts and say, hey, look, I'm bringing you guys some donuts because I don't know what this chick is going to do to y'all today, but I'm going to sit back and watch, okay? I'm going to bring you guys some bagels and some coffee because guess who's behind me? That's right, Mary Jo Seifer. So those that cannot afford a lawyer, there's this program called the LIST program, Low Income Supplemental Support or something like that. It's called the LIST program. And Mary Jo got me hooked on with that as well, because yes, that first time I didn't know anything. And I did pay $300 because I'm at a point where, you know what? I've learned to invest not in Gucci bags, not in those designer red bottom shoes, not in everything else. I learned to invest my money into my children. So I will work that extra shift at the hospital to pay for that lawyer until I was able to get this thing called LIST. There are programs out there that do provide people with children with disability extra funds. I don't qualify for all of them because my husband and I make too much money, but I do qualify for this one, and all of that money goes straight to that lawyer now. So no, I do not pay for the lawyer all the time. I have applied for the LIST, LISS, all capital letters, the LIST program, and they give me money for Madison's education, and I take that money and give to the lawyer now. I give her the whole entire thing. Why? It's for Madison. And anything I need from Madison, she provides. When it's an IEP, she is there. That's just the bottom line. So those that need a lawyer, that cannot afford a lawyer, there's a program called LISS, LISS, all capital letters. If you Google that, you will find it. It's called Low Income Something Support, okay, supplemental support.
And also, you know, just to piggyback on that, the school system actually, there was a school nurse at my son's school that actually, it's really kind of sad if you think about it, because here you have these children and they're struggling and they're having these, you know, issues and all, and the school just wants to suspend them. They want to kick them out. They want to throw them to the side. They want, oh, you got to do something with them. And it actually took for the school nurse. I called up there and, you know, I cried. I broke down on the phone to her and I'm like, listen, I don't know what to do. I don't know anything about all of this. We need help. Like, what can we do? Mm-hmm. And she cried with me. And she told me that she has a child in a similar situation. And she sat me down and provided me those resources. So they're definitely out there. We have a comment from Shar Johnson that says, my son has autism, but autism will never have my son. He will be a college grad soon. Amen. So amen to that. Go ahead, Sekou, and go ahead, mommy.
I know that's right.
And Shar also said, we never qualified for anything, so we educated ourselves. We navigated through the systems. We became autism research warriors. I love it.
That's what you got to do, though. You can't just sit back and take it.
Nope.
I mean, I didn't have the money and I didn't know about those resources, but I couldn't just step back and take it.
No, you got to fight.
Because your children are your everything. Your everything. So if they are not successful, then you're not successful.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
And
ask you guys.
I had two with disabilities. Joshua had the ADD as well as the autism. And my daughter was born at 3 months early, so she had cerebral palsy. And I had to fight for both of them. And then my oldest son is dyslexic. But he had been straight A GT. I'm gonna tell you how the Baltimore County school system was gonna do him. Straight A GT all throughout elementary school. And because he had an IEP, when he went to middle school, they want to put him in special ed classes.
Oh, wow.
And the only reason I found out this is because we switched up schools and I had to get the transcript. And when I saw the transcript saying straight A, gifted and talented student, was being put in special ed just because he had an IEP, I flipped out. That was one time you saw me and my little man, love me to death, but that's my daddy. We went up to that school and flipped out, and he was in GT classes from then on and graduated in the top percent of his class. That's the same one that when he took his college entries and test above level.
Listen, we're gonna run to commercial and then we're gonna hear from Key again. So, producer, come on up with our commercial. We put together a slide because we wanted everybody, that all of our viewers, to know that there is help. Autism is just seeing the world in a different way. So there's autism help. So you can contact the autism response team, and here is multiple organizations. There are some good organizations and there are some bad organizations. So we will keep this slide circulating after the show because we want to make sure that you are aware. You can contact the autism response team at 1-888-AUTISM, and there's Hispanic help as well. And you can also visit help@autismspeaks.org. And Sister Shay did also mention the LIST program. I did type that into the comments for anybody who needs it. We will keep this information going, and we will also post these resources on our Victory Talk page. So make sure that you check out our Victory Talk page. All right. So come on, Key.
Okay, and one more comment before I get to my next question. Shar Johnson said the Hussman Center on the campus of Towson University has social groups for teens and adults with autism. They also have a Facebook group. So any of our viewers out there, like Lady J said, we're going to type everything in the comments. We're going to post it to our page. You can go back and catch the replay. So anybody who doesn't have anything to jot down right now, it's going to be out there for you. So the next thing we want to talk about with this thing is that people with autism have challenges with communication and social skills. They often find it hard to have conversations and may not pick up on social cues. Some people with autism may not talk at all, and others may talk very well, but they all will have some challenges making friends and communicating socially. So have you found this to be the case with you and your individual situation? And if so, how did you encourage or attempt to enhance the social skills for your children? And anybody can jump in there and
Michelle,
answer.
you quiet. Come on, we want to hear from you. What's your son's name?
His name is Rodney.
Rodney.
But we call him Wooter. So he's very, very quiet. So the social skills are very weak. He can talk. You have to put your ear to his lips to hear him, but it's very limited. But I mean, like if he don't want to go to the doctors, he's hollering, "I don't want to go," and he's loud when he doesn't want to do something. But we've done speech therapy, we've done social skills group therapies, we've done he continued with he still receives speech in school, but we did outside speech too, and it just It's just more so if we reward him when he is loud or he speaks up in a speaking voice like I'm speaking, because you wouldn't understand him if he sat right here next to me because he speaks so loud. But that's the only thing that we've done. And I sit in here and I work with him as well. So if I'm here, we do sight words where I make him speak, and I make him speak loud where I can hear him until he does it properly, and understand that he needs to speak up, because if I'm not around, he needs to be able to voice his opinion, or if it's an emergency or anything. So we try to get him to speak loud. He still doesn't, but that's the things that we've done as far as Rodney is concerned with speech.
As far as Joshua is concerned, I try to get him to believe in himself. And that's been kind of hard. He's very soft-spoken. We call him the gentle giant because he's like about 6 foot, almost 6'4", big, but the softest spoken person around. But I can't really say, even with him having his business, that has improved. He just speaks in a whisper, but it is very well spoken, and it's meticulous because he's so afraid of saying it incorrectly. But I haven't quite figured out, besides making him feel good about himself, to help with that issue.
How about Shay?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
With Madison, she's loud.
Well, I was gonna say it's the flip side with girls. It seems like, because I've read come to Madison.
She's loud. She speaks her mind. If you do something to offend her sister, she will let you know. She's very protective of Morgan. She's very protective of her family. She's very protective of her dog. Things that I've helped to get her out into the community and to enhance her intelligence is did research and realized that pianos help to calm children with autism. And if you guys ever seen her play, you can see that she's so calm when she plays that piano. And she plays so beautifully when she plays the piano. So that's one thing that I incorporated into her life. Another thing that we did is that, we have her in karate. I try to get her out. She does not speak to people. Madison lives the model that I live. Don't bother me and I won't bother you. So I don't know, maybe I might have a little bit of autism myself because I live by those mottos. But she does karate in school. She's very good when she really focuses on that. And a year ago, we had her in softball. Now, I posted on Facebook the other day about everybody has a funny Madison story. Well, I have about 1 million funny Madison stories. But this one funny Madison story is trying to get her out there socially interacting with other kids and other people that don't know her, with softball. Well, there was this one incident to where they were playing softball. And I had to work, so my best friend Carol took her to play softball. Madison was so upset that this girl got her out that she jumped up. She dropped the bat and she went to the girl and she was so upset. She was screaming in her face. She disrupted the whole entire game. They had to end it because Madison would not stop. It was like, and I was at work and it was crazy. So I'm like, all right, fine. I have to take her to her softball games from now on. So we were taking the softball games, and whenever Madison get out, it would be an issue. I don't care if I'm there talking, it would be an issue. So now the softball people, they kind of getting a little hip to Madison now. So if Madison got out, they looked at me and I looked at them. She's not out. Run on the base. And they just let her just run to the base. And they would let her run all the way around to where she got all the way back to home. So it was like, even though she cheated, people are accepted. They have a sense of acceptance to children with autism. And Madison, she never wants to fail. She never wants to be, this word she says is not being smart. She never wants to be that way. She always wants to be the best of anything that she do. So these people are like, all right, fine, let her just run, because it's going to be an issue. So these are things that I did for her as far as trying to get her interacting with other children. And the kids on the team on the team with her, they were so supportive of her. She would get out, we knew she struck out, but we didn't say anything. We would let her run. And then when she came in, everybody was standing there, all these kids with their hands up, and she's high-fiving them, knowing that she got out and her point did not matter. But the bottom line is that she was part of a team. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I didn't keep her sheltered down. I pushed her out there and say, hey, look, it's just like we say, autism, hear us roar. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hear her roar. Okay. And that's exactly what I did. I pushed her out there. And even when she's in church, no, she don't sing in the choir, but you let some song get on there that she likes to hear. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Bet $1 million. I mean, she's singing a song and she's dancing in the aisle, and you have Miss Lucille and Miss Yvonne. I mean, even Miss Yvonne.
Go.
Don't bother her, okay? Do not bother. And one thing that I love was Reverend Candace Gray. I love her forever. When I was first going to church, and I had an autistic daughter, it was hard for me to sing on the choir because my daughter was always making noise in church. And I thought it was disrupting the church. And I was always looking down from the choir, looking like, oh my gosh, I have to go down there. Reverend Candace came and told me, she said, if anybody ever comes to you or ever says anything about Madison, you come straight to me. You do not go to them. You come straight to me and I will handle them. Because I just did not want my child to be a disruption in the church. I know how, things are ran. You bring your child. Don't you stop coming to church. You bring him. And that's one thing I'll never forget that Reverend Candace told me about my child. And that really held true and strong to my heart. Somebody actually caring about someone that I completely care for and that I love. And if anybody was to say anything, I'm like, look, she was the first lady. And I'm like, I wish somebody would look the wrong way. I'm looking at them. Nobody did. I mean, they just accepted her. I mean, St. Stephen's, we're the best. I mean, it was just the best there. And such a great group of people that, if they know that Madison was not where she was supposed to be, they just brought her right back to me and said, hey, look, it takes a community to raise her because you can't keep an eye on her she moves. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, that's what I did to increase her social skills. But she does not talk to people. She does not hold conversations. If you don't speak to her, she does not see you. Mm-hmm. And I'm cool with that, we talk about the stranger danger all day, every day. She don't talk to strangers, all right? You touch her, that's an issue. But she loves to touch people. She has a thing about texture, grabbing people on the back of their arm. If you have any extra meat.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Y'all got flashbacks too. Anybody have flashbacks? She grabs that piece of meat back there, and it's like she would suck that thumb, and she would just keep grabbing that piece of meat on the back of people's hearts. Look at Reverend Jackie. She got me.
I've been meeting that time or two.
Oh, she got me. But they have a thing about texture, and as Michelle was saying, it's a food thing. Certain types of food Madison will not take. She does not like mashed potatoes. She likes things with more of a rough texture. She does not like macaroni and cheese. She does not like that. She does not like cheese because it's a texture thing that's in their mouth. Everything is has to be a certain way. Try and feed her something different. I don't know. It might not work out that way.
Listen, y'all done messed my whole world up because y'all done start talking about Candace. Kieran, she saw me like, okay, y'all done messed up my whole world. Okay, because I get really emotional still. But Shireen said, yes, Reverend Candace said the same thing to me. Shireen, let him pray, sing, join YPD, whatever. St. Stephen's, and I can attest to this. Listen, St. Stephen's, whether your child was autistic or not, okay, St. Stephen's was such a pro-child organization. The church, the family, everything. Everybody loved your children. You weren't worried about your children inside the confinement of anybody connected to St. Stephen's. You know what I'm saying? And so, that really, that is just, I stand in awe of, just how God just moved in the situation. And to Shireen, listen, I knew this son, we call it son, S-U-N, was autistic, but if you did not know, you would not know. This young man graduate college. Huh? God is good. He is going to graduate college. I see him singing. He sings. He talks. I mean, he is just amazing. And 9 times out of 10, Michelle, I'm with you. He will talk in a whisper. I don't even know if I've ever heard Sekou raise his voice, in terms of to be loud.
If you get him to talk about something that he likes, Sekou will raise his voice. Because I had him when he was little. And I noticed that he liked blue and he liked blue elephants. If I got him with the blue elephants, he would talk to me up a storm. And that was the key to getting him where I wanted him.
That's right. But work on their level.
Yes. So now, like with my son Joshua, I noticed that Joshua liked to break things. But once he broke things, he liked to put it back together again. And
they are very smart. They are very smart. I had a young lady that I worked with at Hopkins, and her grandson was autistic. And let me tell you, he would get out of the, you could try to confine them, but he would do things like he would get up on the roof of their house and do his math work on the roof of the house and would not come down. And they would have to get, the fire department to get him down. They would nail the windows shut. But he was like Houdini. But
they figured it out.
He was very, into his math. He was so smart. He was just absolutely smart. I got another question because I don't want us to get away from these, thoughts that Key and I had. Apart from difficulties with social communications, people with autism, the ASD disorder, tend to have restricted interests. Other key features include repetitive behavior and or the need for routine. So tell us about a day in the life of how difficult it is to redirect or to calm them. I mean, you guys kind of shared a little bit, but tell us about how, how is it, what is your daily routines like?
For me,
I know most children need repetition, but is it more so when they are autistic?
It is. Like for me, it was the daily life activities. Like for my other children, I could just say, go get in the shower, wash your body, get dressed, put this certain thing on. For him, I had one thing at a time. If I gave too much, it became all mumble jumbled and it wouldn't be right. I used to have to do what I called a body check with him and to make sure everything was right. And even in his life right now, and he still has issues with that. And it's daily life orders for Joshua. Anything above the daily life orders, he got it. But the daily things, like what you got to do to get yourself together, you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you wash up, you get ready, and this is mumble jumbles for him.
Michelle, did you want to chime in on that?
Sure. So everything is repetitive with us. Everything. If we go out of order, it ruins his day. Period. It's not well, he's calmed down now, but as we navigated through life and this journey with autism, he was calm in the beginning, and then puberty came, and I did hear someone speak about wanting to medicate, or maybe they said something in the chat or whatever. But a long time ago, they tried to medicate Rodney, and me and his father kept saying no, we don't. That's we'll do therapies. We did behavior therapies. All kinds of stuff, but if it's not routine, it will throw him off, and it would make him angry and aggressive, or he just would be non-compliant. because it's just not routine. Our routine is, even now, he gets up in the morning, he does wash his face and brush his teeth. He has a medicine box. He comes downstairs, he takes his medicine, he goes back upstairs, puts the medicine thing upstairs, comes back downstairs, eats breakfast, gets a bottle of water, goes back upstairs, drinks the water, comes back downstairs, and that's how he does it every morning. If I try to get him out of that, he's either non-compliant or it just will throw him off where he can become a little upset or whatever. But it's repetitive is necessary for him.
I have to agree with Michelle. Repetition is still the same with Madison as well. You do not disrupt what she's been doing for a while. When they were out of school and she was not going to school, that was the roughest. Oh my God. I had to take a mental health break from work, 3 months off from work because I was going crazy. Madison, she's like with them, she gets up, brush her teeth, wash her face, and she's getting ready for school, but there's no school. Now, she has to change her routine. It was so hard to change her routine to where she would get aggressive. And then when she get aggressive, I got aggressive. And it's nothing physical. It's just that, I'm the kind of person to where when a child rears up, autistic or not, I'm going to rear up right along with you, because as soon as they see a sign of weakness, they think that it's, okay, it's all fair game. So we both are like in the house and we are just going at it back and forth. She's like going through that and I'm right behind her. There's a period of time to where, I could calm her down, but when she is like on 100, and you have to know your child. You have to know when you can calm them down and when you can't. And then when you cannot calm them down, you have to seek other resources, okay? You might have to switch into that other mommy mode to where like, look, enough is enough, So with her, even me as a nurse practitioner, I couldn't get a job as a nurse practitioner the first year of COVID. I've been a nurse practitioner for a year and I could not get a job because I had to keep working the night shift so I can be home with my child, during the day. Then I started getting stressed out. I'm like, I can't do it. I almost went into I almost had a breakdown. And my doctor said, you can't do this anymore. You got to let something go. I said, well, let the job go. I went out on 3-month disability, mental disability. And it was the best thing for me ever. So with Madison, the competitive stuff, the repetition stuff is something that's important for her. She get that mind fixated on one thing like Donald Trump. I have nothing to do with him being in the White House, but she was so fixated on him and she just really just hated him so much. I hate Donald Trump. She would look him up on YouTube and she was show me things on YouTube about Donald Trump. And I'm like, look, we're going to get him out the White House. We're going to get him out the White House. I'm like, Lord, please come, please let them make it out the White House. Da, 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 da. And then when he did, I'm like, yes, Maddie, look, he's out the White House. And I thought that was over. It wasn't over.
Wow.
Now she's OCD, going to school. When we going to school? When we going to school? I said, you're going to school soon. You're going to school. When are we going? She would not stop. Yes, she's in school. It does not stop there. The teacher sent me a text message just yesterday saying that Madison keeps hounding her about when she's going to get the COVID vaccination. She's been hounding me as well. Until it is done, they do not stop. You understand? Until it is done. We're going to Jamaica next week. When are we going to Jamaica? Da, da, da. It will not stop until we are on the sands of Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And she thinks Jamaica is for her. It's not for her. I know that as soon as I go to Jamaica, I don't have to deal with her anymore. She calls room service. She can walk outside the patio. She calls room service. Okay? She knows how to work the menu. She knows how to go on the TV, look the stuff up. I don't have to deal with her. She knows what she wants. I'm just the vessel to get her. I feel she used me, but I feel that I'm just the vessel to get her where she needs to be.
Well, while we're speaking about Miss Madison, is she still around to come on? Is she?
Yeah, she's here.
Yes. And I'm glad we're doing that because we got about 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes. So let's hear from Miss Madison.
Madison, they want to hear from you.
Madison, look, listen, let me tell y'all, there was a situation, we was talking about this as we was prepared to come on. But Madison got hold of Shay's Amazon account. And Madison was ordering up all kinds of goodies. She had cases of candy coming to the house. Girlfriend knew what she wanted, and she would just order it. She would just go on and do whatever she needed to do. And I can remember Shay was just having a fit. Here she comes. Here she comes. Hey, Madison.
Hi.
How are you today?
How are you?
You're on our talk show. We welcome you on our talk show. Did you know you were going to be on a talk show today?
How am I?
Yes. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Are
you getting ready
Got
for
her
Jamaica?
shirt on. She ready.
Where are you going next week? Where are you going next week?
Jamaica?
Yes, she is.
Well, you have fun here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
She's
Well,
ready.
we just wanted to say hello.
You want to do a version of Won't He Do It?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sing Won't He Do It.
Won't he do it? You tell you what you rather see me there? How to save it? Won't he do it? Did you see how?
It's only His grace. Won't He do it? And I trust Him with all.
Yes. Awesome.
I love that song,
She
Patty.
sings songs just like we do, and we don't know the words. You know how we.
We be like,
Thank you, baby kisses.
Thank you, Madison. We'll see you later.
You say bye.
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 Okay, Key.
That's my.
We wrapping it up now, right? No more questions.
Yes. Yeah,
So
it's
we are
almost
at
8
the
o'clock.
top of the hour. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I don't know. I'm not gonna put this out here because our producer ain't gonna fuss me out. But we might have to look into the future, trying to extend some of these shows a little bit longer because it just goes by so quickly, even if it's like 5, 10, 15 minutes. But thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. We just want to say thank you to all of our guests. Theta, Shay, Michelle, it has been a pleasure to have you all on. We just thank you so much for your willingness, for your openness, for your transparency to just come in and share your stories with people, because there are so many people out here that's going through this same situation right now. And while you guys don't have any littles, anymore, it's important that the people that have come before us, come on and be a wealth of information and share their stories, share their struggles, good, bad, indifferent, up, down, back, front, all around. So we just thank you so much for coming on tonight. We thank you for our viewers, all of our guests that are on all social media platforms, chiming in, joining into the conversation. We look forward to seeing everybody on our next show next Friday night. It's going to be our Fit for Life session. So we look forward to having you back. I'm your host, Key, and our host, Lady J. And we just thank you all. We can't thank you enough. We love you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you all again. Good night, everybody.
Good night.